What's up, and welcome to Tackett's House of Horsepower. It's me, Steve Tackett, and we are going to get something done on Down N Dirty today if it kills me. The struggle is real. The struggle is real. Waiting on parts lately. It is absolutely atrocious trying to order parts right now. OPG, Classic Industries, all of them. I don't know. If they got it in stock, great. It shows up quick. If they don't have it in stock, you might as well just hang it up, I guess. I don't know. So, about the only part that showed up this week was the fitting for the oil pressure gauge. It is pretty cool though, I'll give them that. It is pretty cool. Those guys at Dakota Digital, they think of everything. So it's like a 45-degree angle extender guy for the oil pressure sending unit. So we'll get that buttoned up, we'll get that wired in. As far as everything else goes, I am still waiting on a dash pad. So I need the dash pad before I can put the gauge cluster in, and then I can put the steering column in. So literally all this is waiting on a dash pad right now. So skip that, leave it alone, forget it. We'll leave it. What we can do is put this guy in. Oh, here we go. I got one of these. I'm gonna have to drill some holes, cut some holes into this beautiful floor pan that's never been touched ever. I'm gonna feel a little bit guilty about that. There is not one hole, not one rust hole, nothing on this floor pan. Until today, we're gonna chop it up. So, I mean, we can do a shifter. So let's do that. We'll probably have to get some help from Sarah, because I'm gonna need somebody on the inside, and I can put the bolts in, and so we'll do that. Other than that, I mean, I've got everything else here for the front clip. I can start putting that together. I got a battery relocation kit and an on-off switch. I'm gonna set it up just like the green car. Probably put a push-pull over here somewhere. But they did not send me the battery box. They sent me the cables and the switch, but no battery box. Awesome. So that's gonna probably just wait on that. So today, let's tackle the shifter. Why not? But first, let's pop this guy in. Remember, I could not get that to clear the intake manifold. It's too big and round. It did not want to clear the intake manifold. So, I found this. Dakota Digital makes a little extension, 130070, and it's got like an extension. You can go at it. Well, here, I'll open it up. Okay. There, you can see it now. That'll screw into the block, and then you got like it comes off at a 45, or you can come straight off at a 90 if you wanted to take that plug out. So you could kind of do it either way, and stick that in there and angle it where you want, and then screw your oil pressure sending unit to it. So that's kind of cool. So we can pop this guy in. Well, that worked out pretty good. I like that. Look at that. Oil pressure sending unit, check. Okay, enough screwing around. Let's get started on this shifter. And you know, it is what it is. I can't do it this whole job in the order that I want to do it in because I'm waiting on parts or whatever. So you can't let it get to you can't let the progress stop. You got to get something done every week. You know, a lot of guys have cars sitting in their garage or sitting in their backyards, and maybe it seems overwhelming, like, oh, it's gonna take forever, oh, it's gonna take a lot of money, oh, I'll get to it eventually, whatever. The thing is, don't look at, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So don't look at the whole project and go, oh, it's never gonna get done. Oh, it's gonna take forever. Oh my God, what do I do? Just get something done every week or whatever your next day off is or whatever. Do what you can when you can. And you do a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, and eventually you get it done. So things don't always go as planned. That's okay. We'll just move on to something else. So let's get started on the shifter. All right, so this is what I'm going with. The good old-fashioned, tried and true B&M Mega Shifter. I put them in a bunch of cars. I like them. They're kind of old school, but hey, I don't mess with what works. You know what I mean? It's what I'm used to. Most of my cars have them, except for the green Chevelle. It's a totally different setup. But anything I like to drive on the street, you know, like a street type car, I like the B&M Mega Shifter. So let's go ahead and get it out of there and get it where we want to get it and start marking holes. All right, so I think it's going to go right about there, which is, of course, the worst part of the floor to contour to. 3 of the feet looks like you can bend them pretty easy to contour to the floor. 1 of the feet, not so much. So that one's probably gonna have to have some washers underneath it. The other 3 will kind of bend them. But anyways, so what you want to do is set it where you want it. Get your distances from your pedals and stuff where you want. I just kind of copied the green Chevelle over there. I went and copied that car. So I'm pretty much gonna put it where the same distance as that car. So I know it's gonna be where I want it. I don't want to go too far back because then it doesn't feel comfortable when you're slapping the gears. But I can't go too far forward because then you're reaching for it. But I also got to keep in mind that Sarah's a lot shorter than me. So I want her to drive it and I want her to be able to feel comfortable. So I think right about there is going to be where it's going to need to go. So let's mark our holes and bend those tabs and stuff, get it to fit in that spot and keep it straight up and down, and then we'll start drilling. Okay, so I bent those feet just a little bit to kind of contour to the floor. Those 3 you can bend pretty easy. This one you can't bend, you gotta leave it alone. So what I'll do is, I got this chunk of space or metal, something like this, and I'll make this fit in there. What I'll do is I'll grind this at an angle. I'll put a wedge, I'll make it into a wedge, slide that in there, so that way I can get a bolt in it. I think that's the plan. So let me start drilling. So I really feel bad about drilling on this. I've never owned a car with a perfect floorboard before. So this will be kind of weird drilling on this. I'll be the first person to put a hole in this floorboard. Oh well, it is what it is. Okay, I had to go get Sarah's help so we can get the bolts and bolt this thing down. She's gonna get in the car. I'm gonna get under the car.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hold on. I'll line it up again. Okay.
Now put a flat washer and then a lock washer and then just start the nut.
Okay.
That's me.
Okay.
Okay. No,
I got one more.
I can't put that one in yet.
Okay.
Just do these three. Now tighten them up. Tighten them up. Tighten this one first.
Okay.
Go ahead and tighten it tight.
I'll put it on backwards. Not working. Okay.
Okay, now the other back one.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. You could jump out now because I'm gonna have to make a spacer for this one. I'm gonna have to grind it. Thank you, baby.
Always.
Sometimes you need two sets of hands, you know? All right, there we go. All 4 bolts are in. I had to make a little wedge. I took a spacer and cut it into a wedge shape there. So all 4 bolts are in and it's not going nowhere. And the cable, ran that right through there with a unibit. Walled up me a hole and ran the cable through there. So let's hook the cable up on the bottom side. All right, so the cable comes around the bottom of the transmission like that. And then there's a bracket you gotta mount on the oil pan bolts right there. And then you do your adjustment right there. So basically you just follow your instructions because there's different brackets and different configurations. If it's a turbo 400 or 350 or power, whatever you got, whatever transmission you got, Ford, Chevy, whatever. So just follow your instructions and you can't go wrong. Make sure you do the adjustment correctly Otherwise, it's gonna bind up, break it, snap the cable, do all kinds of stuff. So there you go. It's in, it's installed, it's adjusted. So that part's done. Under the car's done. All right, next thing I want you to look at is this little plate right here coming up. This little guy right here with these two little holes. So, and then you got these nubs right here. So what those things do is when this thing moves, it's gonna make contact with this switch. There's two of them. You got two little switches here. And that little lever, this is a normally open contact. So when it makes these little nubs come around, it's gonna hit this switch, and you've got two sets here. This bottom one is gonna be neutral safety. So it'll be in park or neutral. It's gonna make contact. So your neutral safety switch will work. And this one's important because they will check this. When you go to, if you plan on going to the racetrack, especially any NHRA type legal drag racing type track, they're gonna check this. The tech inspectors are gonna make you put the car in drive and try and start it. If the car cranks, then you fail. They won't let you race. So neutral safety switch goes on this one, and then the one above it is gonna be for backup lights. You don't have to have it, but I'm gonna have it. So I like it when everything works. So I'm gonna hook all this stuff up, and for one, for safety, and for two, I wanted the backup lights and stuff to work. So that's where this little plate goes in. That's what these little nubs do. That's what these little switches do. So I'm gonna start mounting this stuff up. Something like that. See that? Now you can tell this one is closed right now because we're in park. The shifter's in park. So this one doesn't click. It's closed right now. And this one, it's not going to be closed until you're in reverse. So when I go to reverse, there it is. Now it's closed. And this one is not closed. That's it. So, top one's gonna be backup lights, bottom one is neutral safety. And then what we'll do is, we'll dig into this harness and we'll run, I know the purple one is the neutral safety, or goes down to the starter. So basically all this is gonna do is interrupt the purple wire. So this has to be closed in order to crank the car. Makes sense? And they will check it. Like I said, they will check it. And then the top one, we'll just run our backup lights to that, and boom. There you go. So my least favorite part of this job is trimming all the plastic to get that box to fit. And you never quite get it right, but just take your time, trim it around, you know what I mean? So it sits flush on the metal mounts. There's one in the front, one in the back. And just take your time. I use a little grinder wheel, and cut it down, check it, cut it some more, check it, cut it some more. But it's starting to look like a shifter. All right, we're in the home stretch now. I just got to hook up my cable here for my indicator, park, reverse, neutral. You got this cable right here, and you got a light bulb that lights up that indicator. And they give you two different ones. If you have a 3-speed tranny or a 4-speed tranny, you can put in the 4-speed one if you want. Me, I'm running a 3-speed, so we'll hook that up like that. Run my cable like that. I got 2 wires for that bulb. One of those wires will hook to ground. The other one we will run off of, remember, one of these gray wires here. So we'll add that down to our pigtail for the neutral safety switch. When I run the neutral safety switch and backup lights, I'll run one of those gray wires down. run a pigtail down, hook it up to my light bulb. So my indicator will light up like it's supposed to, of course. All right then, check it out. It's done. Only thing left is the wires, which I'll finish the dash and I'll make a pigtail coming down and hook those wires up. But other than that, you want to check and make sure it doesn't have any binding. It's nice and smooth. You don't have to, like, you know, push it too hard. If you do, something's binding. Usually the cable is pinched or kinked or something like that, and you don't want that. So you get first, second, third, back to park. Nice and smooth and easy. Even my little indicator works. I like it. And the last step, of course, is your stickers. You got to put your stickers up on the sticker walls. All right, I think that's going to do it for this episode. We got our shifter installed. We got the oil pressure sending unit hooked up. I think hopefully we'll get some parts this week and get the dash buttoned up and get the gauge cluster in. And I think it's getting close to being able to put the front clip on. So we'll be doing burnouts around the block here real soon.
Not our block. What do you say? Don't where you sleep. Go to another neighborhood and do burnouts.
I do what I want where I sleep.
On that note, send us some love. Make sure that you like and share this with all of your friends, and hit the bell to get notifications. We do really appreciate all this.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hit like, hit subscribe, hit that bell. Any of that would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, and thank you for the comments. I know about the Oki video. I will get to it eventually. I'm trying to prevent him from doing what he wants all the time.
That's not gonna happen. All right, we'll see you next time.